I think another thing that a lot of people are talking about and a lot of people are hoping is, of course, the 6th subclass or the 3rd darkness subclass. That, of course, is absent. I mean, it's not really absent because it was never really announced, but it was definitely anticipated. I think rightfully so, because it definitely is just thematically. It's kind of like a gaping hole in Destiny's like symmetry, and it's kind of like an imperfection of having 3 light subclasses and just 2 dark subclasses. But yeah. I think there's a reason. I think the reason for it is simply they didn't have time. I'm not sure how much they seriously planned on doing a 3rd subclass. I think they probably realized a long time ago, probably at some point making through. I think before Stasis, before Beyond Light, I do think they had planned to do 3 subclasses in all 3 expansions. But as we know, things changed. And obviously they added a 4th expansion. I think they realized like it took a long time to make Stasis, and then even a year to just about balance that. And some would argue they didn't even do that like enough within the year. And then they realized, we're doing Strand. I think if we were getting a whole new subclass in just a couple months, it would seem a little too soon, and I would wonder whether the subclass would be as good as the first 2, because Strand and Stasis, I think Strand especially, I think is still one of the best designed subclasses as far as all the little mechanics and the perks and where they interact and just what you can do with it. I think Strand is the best designed subclass we've seen, and I think for them to do a 6th one, they're going to need a lot more time. So yeah, it's a little bit disappointing. There were some leaks about, I don't even know if they were real or not, about the developer screen with the red subclasses.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure at this. I want to say that Joe Blackburn came out and debunked those rumors, and basically it's all fabricated, which, I mean, that's the case with like 50% of rumors, but, c'est la vie. I do think that the actual subclass idea and the proposition of it itself, not the idea of a red subclass, but the idea of just a 3rd darkness subclass after something like Resonance or something in that ballpark actually does make a lot of sense. Where we actually find it is going to be a totally different question, though. So we'll need to sit there and figure that out. But
I think it's a very good tool that Bungie are just saving their pocket for the future of, when they do some kind of expansion in the future. I would definitely imagine that'll be a big... I think it just makes it, again, as much as I wish there was a new subclass in Final Shape, I think I can definitely see a day where they just announce one big expansion and a whole new subclass. That subclass is a huge thing that draws players in. It's probably one of the biggest things that makes an expansion interesting is a whole new damage type. It's a massive, massive change. So I think it's something they're definitely just saving in their pocket for a future day. Again, I do wish there was all 3, so you can kind of tie a bow in it and have one nice, neat, symmetrical 3 light, 3 dark. But I just don't think it's feasible for that, and clearly it's not feasible. If it was possible, they probably would have done it, but I think they're just saving it for some kind of future expansion. It definitely will be a big token they have to draw players back in, because when they announce a new, whatever it is, red or yellow or orange darkness element, yeah, people will definitely be very, very hyped for that. I saw some people kind of speculating maybe they're just keeping it as a surprise, but definitely not. If there was a subclass in this, they would be marketing
I don't know, man. I don't know, because here's the thing. I don't want to go ahead and hype people up for this, because in my mind of minds, this expansion having light subclasses because it's inside the heart of the Traveler, that makes sense. But the Witness is here inside the heart of the Traveler, and it has been changing it and turning it and corrupting it. And there's a part of that just makes me think that it's not impossible. And I don't want to say it because, it does sound like the kind of thing they'd throw up there immediately in the marketing, especially with the way they did Strand, especially with the way they did Stasis. But there's a part of me that would be really, really excited if we just walked through and, mission 2 of the campaign, we face up against the Witness prematurely, and it's clear that we can only just barely scratch the surface of its power. But in scratching the surface, we pull away a little bit of the fabric of what makes the Witness powerful, and we get Resonance or something. That would be...
I do think it's possible.
Wow.
It was the first thing I thought of, is, maybe they're just saving it. It's a Bungie thing they would do, of trying to just keep it as a surprise. It's something they did a lot with Forsaken. They kept a lot secret. And even with Destiny 2, they didn't even announce the 3rd subclasses, the Taken King subclasses. They kept it as a surprise. I remember making a few videos kind of pointing out they did let it slip a few times. There are a couple of little things that suggested it, but they kept it hugely under. They did a very good job, and then pretty much as Destiny 2, a couple weeks before,
until the point at which media outlets were given the go-ahead to post their footage, and none of them followed the guidelines correctly, and just showed the map in their footage and didn't edit that out. And
that
just
was like a week or two before. I remember that, but they did keep that as a surprise. But I think, I don't know, I'd say maybe like a 10% chance they're keeping it as a surprise. But I think just the kind of marketing business side of me thinks it would be such a huge selling point. They would want to advertise it, and it would be a reason to sell and make copies. Like we saw how many trailers they released for Strand and Stasis. They would want to be, it's the number one reason of, hey, buy this expansion. So I feel like they'd be doing themselves a disservice, but I do agree it would be very cool, and it is a thing that Bungie could possibly do. So it's not, I don't think it's a 0% chance it happens, but it's something that would be very, very cool, and it is something that is definitely in the Bungie kind of ethos of trying to reserve some big surprise and then just drop it on the day, and everyone's kind of just freaking out about this whole new subclass. Or like, imagine if you just beat the raid and then there's just like new element unlocked. That would be really cool.
Yeah, defeat the witness, get to use its power. That's a great way of selling the new raid, right?
Yeah,